You're watching WRKM Channel 22, number one in the region. The following WRKM broadcast is for mature audiences only. You did it, America. You did it. Instead of starting a new franchise, you went back to an old franchise, and the sequel is here. It's bigger, it's badder, it's dangerous. No one is safe, and this time it's personal. Let's light this candle. These are the talks we can't have when the sun is up. Good evening. I'm Ralph Mantis in Darkness. We're back. Back in time. I haven't been here in 2 election cycles. It's 2016 part 2. And I'll be honest, people hated me on election day. And I was kind of fine with that. The second we uploaded last episode, I knew when I decided to endorse a candidate, that candidate would lose. That's just how I am. I have this Yankee hat on. We just lost the World Series. So me being a fan of yours might be a detriment. Wisconsin continues to lose. I'm a fan of them. So maybe I should stop being fans of everything and just keep it to myself. But then there'd be no podcast. And then there wouldn't be a Ralphie Curse, which we could make merch on. Ralphie Curse. Let's get on that, Bobby. But like in 2016, I knew what we were up for. I remember 2016 very well. I was not as fat as I am now. And I was at Gotham City Lounge, my favorite bar. Me and the owner, who's also Puerto Rican, Ray, we sat at the bar watching the election and watching all the liberal whites lose their mind about it. Because it hadn't occurred to them that after the Barack Obama presidency, we would swing the other way and go into a weird nationalistic mood. But we did. And me and Ray knew it because that's how it is. The second you do something great, the pendulum has to swing back. And at the time, we found it comical. It was like, oh no, here comes the tears. People begging that maybe winning California could do something for them. And it did it. Hillary lost that one. Sucks. I wanted a woman president. I actually advocated for her before I advocated for Barack, to be fair. I didn't think America could handle a black president. But they seem to handle a black president better than they handle a white woman president. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe my assumptions on American sexism and racism are not correct. But here we are again. Another woman up at the plate. And some of the same mistakes get made. They don't really narrow in on what she stands for and what her policies are. But the election was about joy. And I think that's fun. Joy. And that's how you know the whole team were trust fund liberal arts majors. Because they thought joy would win an election. It's kind of like the worst part of Last Jedi, to be fair with you. Where, that other character, what's her name? Don't even remember. It's such an unlikable character. But she said the words, "We are not going to win this war fighting the ones we hate. We are going to win it by defending the ones we love." And that is the stupidest thing ever said in a Star Wars movie. And consider that that movie has wizards and laser swords. But that did not understand war whatsoever. You can't chicken soup for the soul war. It's not how it works. We really lost the young men in this election. They've all gone right wing, it seems. And why is that? Well, there is kind of a male crisis. Men are not graduating college at an equal number as women are. But they are going to trade schools, and we always advocate for trade schools. Maybe we should be looking at the trades a bit differently. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I don't understand the young males of today. That's totally fair. I don't even understand myself, I think, in many ways. But we lost them this time because we told them the future is female. But to be fair, the future has to be both because you have to make babies. And that comes down to two people doing the nasty and making more babies. But we lost the young men. They, with their daddy issues, have gone to a strong man. And instead of listening to their daddy issues and going, we'll give you a hug, they didn't offer them a hug. They offered them a shield and sword, and you can be a warrior saving Western civilization. And who doesn't want to save Western civilization? I would love to be told that I'm meant for a great purpose, such as defending democracy or some shit like that. That I gotta take back the freedoms or take back America. That sounds like a cool thing. Sounds a lot better than be nice. And you guys should really stick up for other people. That's it's not as fun. I do that all the time. This time should have been different. Make me feel like I'm fighting a war. Because there were so many memes out there of me and my bros fighting World War III in China. And you're like, that's what we're looking forward to? Hold on, let me fix this headphone. There we go. A lot better now. But we lost the young boys. But I do think we owe black men an apology. Because, man, the Democratic Party really railed into them. Really nabbed them every chance they got. To shame them for potentially not voting for Kamala, which they never really said they weren't. There wasn't a black man congressional circus or whatever they call that came out and went, we're not doing that. They hadn't, to be fair, they hadn't said what their vote was going to be. Nor do I think one black man can speak for many. But Barack Obama sure did. He came in and told black men, you better fucking vote right. You better not fucking, don't you vote for him, you better vote for her. And they did. And I doubt it was the shaming that did it. I think a lot of them just went, yeah, we're liberal guys, so we're going to go vote for her. Will black men get an apology for showing up? They probably won't. The Democrats sure as hell didn't have that same heat for the Latinos, because they can't. They're too busy underpaying them for landscaping and raising their children. So you don't want to upset them. Gotta keep that quiet. Have no heat for them. Just, tell them you care about immigrants, even though not all of them are immigrants. And they really haven't narrowed down that ones who are American citizens do look down on the immigrant ones here. It's kind of interesting how that works. Once you're in the big house, you look down at everyone in the ghettos. It's kind of the dynamic of Latinos in America. Some would say Puerto Ricans were guilty of that at one point. I disagree. Dominicans are. but I love Dominicans, damn you. Don't you dare. Don't you start writing that email. I watched this year's election with a Dominican. We watched it together and we both went, we're fucked. Him more so than me, 'cause I'm an American citizen for now. But I am worried about my friend Michael. I haven't hit him up in a few days. I should probably see how he's doing. See if the government's captured him yet. But the Democrats didn't talk about the economy, and that's what everyone cares about. They care about the money. It's always the economy, stupid. They never learned anything from drug dealers like Nino Brown. Nino Brown gave out turkeys during Thanksgiving. Even if he didn't have shit, you felt like you had a turkey at Thanksgiving at least. There was a drug dealer around my way. He ran the whole projects. And when you had New Way Deli and you didn't have enough money for candy, he paid for that candy. Because he's like, yo, I'm rich. I'm hook these little boys up. Maybe they'll come work for me one day. Maybe if I'm running from the cops, they'll hide me. That's how you have to do it. It's why mob bosses are beloved. In that great John Gotti clip, where the news lady's like, what about the murders? And the guy goes, what about the murders? What murders? Because Gotti put money in the hood a little bit. They took care of his people. Take care of the neighborhood. Neighborhood take care of you. Frank Lucas did it. Until it no longer worked. Until everyone got strung out on heroin and actually became a hindrance to the neighborhood. That's always the give and take of crime lords. They drain the community while also expecting the community to defend them, which is no different than politicians, really. But it's interesting because I don't want to say necessarily that it's all sexism. I do think sexism played a part, much like Joe Rogan says about voter fraud. It isn't 0%, and you're right. Sexism isn't 0%. They didn't want the white woman. They didn't want the black woman who's actually Asian Pacific. I think the only woman president we're going to get is the first trans woman president. Because somehow, in some weird sexist way, they'll go, well, she used to kind of be a guy. I can have a beer with her. She understands the rules of football. She, too, has had a hard time putting together a bookshelf from IKEA. Should have been a half hour, but it's gone 3 hours. She's been there. I can understand that. And I truly believe that's how it's going to work. Because there's one thing men seem to all agree on is they don't want women to have shit. I guarantee you, a Black Panther and a KKK member walking to the same bar, both of them being annoyed by whatever demon they're dating at the time, they will lock eyes and give each other that same bro. You see this shit? In that one moment, racism doesn't exist. They'll just see each other as two men suffering, apparently. And that's what I think is this country is built on. The country doesn't like women. But I know my trans one idea will work because it's the same reason why some people voted for Barack. He wasn't all black. He was part white. There were people saying this shit. They felt like they still had a win in that. Like, yeah, he's only half black. I got a part of that win somehow. And that's why it made it easy for them to vote for Barack. And maybe that's how the first transgender president will win. Dudes will go, I still got a piece of that win. Originally over here, a woman now, but still dude. I think that's how it will work out in the end. But we have evolved in our own ways this election. We have decided that we too will engage some conspiracies. QAnon is not going to have all the fun anymore. We are now bringing in Blue Anon as a bunch of people on TikTok and other social media platforms believe that the election is not over, that there is something more to fight for. Take a look at these clips.
Sad about the election too. But what I'm especially sad about is the fact that I can no longer trust a single TikTok astrologer on this app. So thanks.
I don't mean to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but something feels off about this election. How did we raise over $1 billion in just 4 months, packed rallies, and they won by a landslide in just a matter of hours? Also, why is he not on Twitter boasting and bragging about himself? When she had her concession speech, it felt like we weren't done yet. Like, we still have some fight, but we're gonna fight silently. Her walk-off, I know that walk-off.
The fact that almost every witch, every astrologer, every medium, every psychic on this app is sort of coming together right now because of this presidential election is incredible. Because by now we all know that almost everyone who's intuitively connected in any way woke up between 2 and 4 a.m. morning after the election, and we all knew something was up. But at the same time, we all felt a sort of peace and calmness within.
Here's the thing. The astrology girlies have not let us down all year. So while y'all accept these results, while y'all accept what's on this screen right here, I will not be counting my chickens before they hatch.
Astrology. You see that? Kamala didn't lose yet because her stars said she didn't lose. And the election's not over. There's a weird feeling people have. Maybe the universe will step in and get rid of Donald Trump for us. Because that's the best we've got. We've got astrology weirdos. Then you have the other weirdos that think Starlink is involved somehow and Elon Musk's satellites were changing election results for Donald Trump during the election evening. Though there's no evidence that the machines were connected to the internet in order to do so. But hey, it worked for the other side. QAnon was fun. I enjoyed reading into it. There were cool little conspiracies, little lingos, little code words. There was a community. There were flags. There was merch. And that's what we need in Blue Anon. Blue Anon can't be the astrology weirdos. The astrology weirdos are flimsy. No horoscope is ever true. It's very vague. And you can make any interpretation out of it you want. We need Blue Anon to be really decisive. We need it to be pointed and focused on what we're after. And QAnon was very focused. They hated human trafficking. They hated corruption. And we too can be that kind of conspiracy group. They had a saying, where we go one, we go all. And that was from the movie White Squall. Because Q told them that's a movie they should watch. I can be the new Q. Call me R. Actually, don't call me Blue, BLU. So it keeps the Blue Anon branding. Blue says, watch New Jack City. And our statement will be, am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am. Or, option, my other favorite line from that movie, I want to shoot you so bad, my dick is hard. That's a great line. And I think for a conspiracy group, that can be good. But you gotta do like Ice-T though. Like, I want to shoot you so bad, my dick is hard. Like, you gotta do that. Now, that may be hard to get other people into the conspiracy. Other people may not like to say that in public, but am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am. That is something that people can get with. And you can say without, scaring off the normies. But what you need in any good conspiracy is a Marvel Cinematic Universe of villains. And boy, do we have them. We've got them. Let's take a look at our Marvel Cinematic Universe villains in the Blue Anon universe. Vivek Ramaswamy. He and Elon Musk are going to create a brand new Department of Government Efficiency. Doge. Which, if you remember, we pumped up Dogecoin on this show because we own Dogecoin. We don't own Dogecoin anymore. What a bad time to not own Doge, huh? It made the 48 cents and now it's dwindling, but it was worth something at a time and we could have made a couple of thousands of dollars. But we jumped off the train a little too early because the bills were calling. But we got Vivek. Vivek pledged if he was elected, he would rule by executive fiat, which whatever the hell that means, to a degree unprecedented by American U.S. presidents. He pledged to fire 75% of federal employees, dismantle civil protections, making federal employment at will, and abolish at least 5 federal agencies: the Education Department, the FBI, ATF, IRS, Nuclear Regulatory Commission, and the USDA's Food and Nutrition Service. He called the FDA corrupt and vowed to expose and ultimately gut the FDA. They're trying to control our bodies by tearing down the institution for our bodies. He said he would have allowed citizens 18 to 24 to vote only if they enlisted in the military or became first responders or passed the civics tests. Is this not like voter ID a little bit? Isn't this not a little suspect that I have to pass a test to vote? Is it not my God-given right and my freedom to be an ignorant piece of shit and vote for whoever the hell I want? That's a majority of the conservatives. They don't know what they're voting for. They have no idea what a tariff is, but they got to vote. They have to pass a test. Why should we? That should be our stance. Our freedom to vote is being violated by forcing our people to learn things and take tests. Let's talk about Elon Musk, Mr. Free Speech Advocate. He bought Twitter and has increased his approval of censorship requests by governments. During the 2023 presidential election, Twitter limited access to content in Turkey. Reports indicate that affected accounts that were critical to the incumbent president, Erdogan. Did I pronounce that right? No, Erdogan. No, because he's got Erdo, and a thing over the G. Erdogan? Erdogan, let's go with that one. Including political movements and journalists, Musk defended this move by saying that the alternative would have been to throttle Twitter in its entirety and claimed it was par for the course with other internet companies, the ones he said were involved in liberal censorship. So he's using that to justify his own censorship. Lovely. Twitter has censored tweets, blocked accounts that are critical of India's Prime Minister, Narendra Modi, and his party. Musk stated that Twitter doesn't have a choice to obey local governments. Well, how about that? So he won't obey America's local governments, but he'll obey foreign governments. Lovely. Musk tweeted that he was so committed to free speech that he would not ban ElonJet, a Twitter account that tracked publicly where his real-time flight data of his jet was going to, his travel records, how long he was traveling, because now this is the kind of thing now where people want to catch people on the climate change thing. If you own a private jet, they track your private jet and they calculate your emissions and how you are part of the problem. Musk reversed his position the next month, banning the account and several journalists who had reported on it, accusing them of doxing. He also announced that he would take legal action. So freedom of speech be damned. He was always a flip-flopper, though, because he was once a Democrat, and until his daughter transitioned, he then got radicalized and apparently saw the light. And now he has gone with Trump. All because his daughter, instead of loving her, instead of accepting her, he chose to go the other way. Father of the year. But to be fair, his own father wasn't necessarily good to him. We covered down in this show. His father threatened to kill himself if Elon didn't keep giving him money. So Elon kept giving him money. Now, how is this guy supposed to talk to me about government wasteful spending? You're paying your dad to be your dad. That's fucking weird. Is no one going to bring that up? Am I wrong for bringing that up? Maybe. But since he's owned Twitter, Twitter has gone down by 82% in value. Maybe that's how America is now great. If we take America down 82% less, bring it down so low that you can only go up. That's kind of genius, really. If you fuck everything up and then have a solution, you look like you're on the ball. That's what's making America great. Finding new ways of bringing the franchise back to then redo things you've already done, like The Last Jedi, where they had to pretty much castrate Luke Skywalker to then make him go through the same character development he went through in the last trilogy, because that's what makes the bucks, and that's what people like. Now, both of these men, one South African, one Indian, believe in the Great Replacement theory, in which white people are subject of some kind of genocide, that they're being replaced, and they think it's because it's the politicians bring in all these immigrants. But no one once asked people like Brittany Mahomes why she's banging a black dude. No one ever asked the white women why are they banging the black dude. If anything, they're causing the Great Replacement. It's not our fault that we're smooth. Black and Latinos, we got it like that. It's not our fault that your women want to learn how to dance and learn how to dance from us because y'all can't move. It's not our fault. If a Great Replacement is happening, it's because R&B. R&B is responsible for the Great Replacement. And we will not apologize for our amazing skills as lovers. We will not apologize. That's a stance I think anyone. That should have been Kamala's go-to campaign speech. We will not apologize for being cool and smooth. The rest of y'all gotta catch up. Elon says he can get $2 trillion off the government budget, but even if you fired every government employee, you still wouldn't get $2 trillion. So, hey, wish him luck, but apparently they'll be outside the government advisors, which is horse shit. He paid about $700 million to be part of his goddamn campaign, and he's gonna fucking make sure that he's part of his goddamn campaign, and he's part of his presidency. Though I do think eventually Donald Trump will get annoyed by him and send him away the way he does everyone else. But for now, Elon's in. And to be honest, the difference between Elon and everyone else is he's got the money to put the lights out on Trump if he wanted to. So Yes, our new president, who was never in the pocket of anyone else apparently, never in the pocket of a big donor, is now in the pocket of a big donor. Blue Anon, baby. That's our conspiracy. It's not so much conspiracy as the truth. RFK. Let's talk about Robert F. Kennedy Jr., an embarrassment to his father. A guy with a brain worm that's eaten most of his brain. A guy who ran over a bear and then kept it in his trunk for multiple days and then dropped it off in Central Park to make it seem like someone else hit it. And you mean to tell me you hit a bear and forgot you had it in your trunk the entire time? He is going to become head of the FDA, apparently. What does he know about health or anything like that? Well, let's take a look. Kennedy and his Children's Health Defense have falsely claimed that vaccines cause autism. Kennedy focused on the subset of vaccines that contain Demercazole, a mercury-based antimicrobial that has been falsely claimed to cause autism. Demercazole has not been used in MMR chickenpox, from fulminant conjugate, that's a wild word, and inactivated polio vaccines, and in 2001 was removed from all other vaccines. So no one's been using this. It's not been in any kind of vaccine, but he's determined to tell you that it isn't a vaccine. He also said that there's an argument that COVID-19 ethnically targeted people. COVID-19 targeted blacks and whites. People who were most immune were the Ashkenazi Jews and the Chinese. We don't know whether it was deliberate, targeted or not. He's just asking questions that are kind of mildly anti-Semitic and racist. He wasn't necessarily saying that the Jews and the Chinese were immune to COVID. He was just asking a question. Do you not see? He's on the ball. He knows things. He also believes HIV doesn't cause AIDS. I don't know. He's just asking questions. He also wants to send people who are on SSRIs and other drugs into labor camps called wellness farms. But of course, only if you decide to go. Because we all know that's how it starts with labor camps. If you only want to go, then eventually it's no longer a choice. Then you gotta go. And then no one hears from you again. And everyone wonders where you've been. And after a few years, you go, oh, that guy died. Like they sent him to the wellness farm and they worked him to death. So, sounds great. In no way does this sound like any form of weird kind of Nazism. And what's great about the wellness farm is you think you're going to cure depression by making people work a grueling 9 to 5 and making them be outside and get vitamin D. I know construction workers. They're the most miserable fucks I can know. They're outside all the time. They're building great buildings. Miserable as fuck and more prone to substance abuse. So hey, maybe the science is out on working outside the entire time. Maybe depression is a real thing and people need their medicine. But if we're gonna go full Blue Anon, we have to bring in human trafficking. QAnon's obsessed with human trafficking and they do nothing about it. Absolutely nothing. But they tell people about it. And that's their job, to make you aware it's happening, but they have no solutions. Because they think Trump's gonna arrest everybody who's doing it. Because only the Democrats do it, apparently. And who should we get as our human trafficking villain? Well, why not the guy he just announced to be Attorney General, Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz recently resigned after the nomination to prevent the DOJ from dropping a report from the Ethics Committee that was going to be pretty damning and prove that he had sex with a minor. Convenient that this thing's coming down. Trump gives him a nomination, he resigns, and now we can't touch him. Now, I would say these allegations have been around for a while. Many people have testified. An ex-girlfriend has testified that he slept with a minor. His former partner in crime testified he slept with a minor. But somehow the government didn't feel like they had enough evidence, even though they had eyewitnesses testifying that he slept with a minor, allegedly. And I would normally say that this nomination will go through a grueling process in the Senate, but the entire government's red. So they'll probably play patty cake with him the way he played patty cake with those underage girls, allegedly. But we have our human trafficking guy. We're in. Our conspiracy is getting better. It's getting stronger. Let's look at our Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth. He's the former Iraq War veteran who went to Fox and Friends, and now he's being tapped for Secretary of Defense. He thinks DEI has ruined the military, which I would say, does it matter who's operating the drones? I don't think necessarily it matters. You can have a trans person operating a drone that assassinates a terrorist leader and all of his family. It's pretty easy. I operate a drone. You don't have to be a certain ethnicity to do it. It's quite simple. So to me, I don't think DEI is in the military at all. If anything, maybe we're going to find out who's our best assassin via drone. He's holding us back from the droning Olympics. Am I wrong for that? He also doesn't believe in germs. He doesn't wash his hands. He thinks germs are not a real thing. And considering that fighting germs is your first line of defense as a human being, and him being Secretary of Defense, that's kind of weird. It's kind of weird. And if you've shaken hands with this man, you have to assume that you've definitely have some of his semen on your hand now. Because I don't think he's a jerk and wash guy. I think he's a jerk and wipe. Like he'll wipe the semen off his hand. But I don't think he does a deep clean. So some of you are walking around Washington right now with his semen on your hand. And you better ask some questions. Is that how you want to walk through life? Pete Hegseth's jizz on your hand? Because you gotta remember, jizz germs are very small. And they can be in your skin for quite some time. That's what porn stars say when they talk about facials. He also believes there's no reason for a two-state solution. There's no reason why the miracle of the reestablishment of the temple on the Temple Mount is not possible, he once said. Zionism and Americanism are the front lines of Western civilization and freedom in our world today. He further called for an American crusade, which he described as a holy war for the righteous cause of human freedom. Democracy, defend the democracy. Do you know what our founders did not want us to be? A democracy. Quiet part out loud, though he took a lot of words to get there. Typically 1 democracy, 2 democracy, 3 democracy, 4 uses of the word democracy. But he got there. He believes the founding fathers didn't want us to be a democracy. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe he knew them personally. Maybe he went back in time and found out. But this is the core of our Blue Anon. We've got guys who are spreading semen via handshakes. We've got human traffickers as our attorney generals. We've got 2 dum-dums that don't believe that diversity is a good thing, that think the whites are being replaced, which is technically a Nazi theory. So Blue Anon's not necessarily like QAnon because Blue Anon actually has legs. Blue Anon's actually real. And I think if we win as crazy as the QAnon people did, we can win the next election. And I am excited for this prospect. Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am. And that's how we're going to win. We cannot be civil anymore. We need to get crazier. We need to take it to a level they haven't seen yet. Remember, we're the cool kids still, kind of. Even though they got really good at making memes. And we haven't been good at memes in a while. Now, we do have the better comedy writers. That's a fact. That's a fact. Most of the comedians that are funny now play with conservative politics, but if you nail them to the fucking ground, they start getting liberal real quick when the check is right. So we can still win this battle. We still have the best writers, Stephen King. We can make this conspiracy work and we can win it. But you're going to have to play dirty. And you're going to have to accuse people of things they didn't actually do. You know? Maybe Donald Trump is a Manchurian candidate of some kind. And Jeffrey Epstein was the original puppet master, but now that he's gone, his best friend Jeffrey can no longer operate him. So now he just does what he wants. Once again, another human trafficker. I don't see how we lost the conspiracy war when this dude and his entire cabinet is the conspiracy. It's poetic. You know, I don't want to make judgments, but how is it these people don't see it? But if there's one thing that could come out of this, I would also like a job in the administration, to be fair. I've always said this podcast is for sale. I am for sale because I could really use the money. But there's only one position I want in this government. I, as a Puerto Rican, would like to be named Lord of Trash Island, Warden of the Caribbean, first of my name. I would like to be the emissary to the Caribbean because I would like to overthrow the other Caribbean governments with America's support. I want to be Alan Dulles of the Caribbean. Why not? And why not me? I'm a Puerto Rican from America, not from the island. I, too, am unqualified for that job the way the rest of these other people are. I fit right in. It's good casting. That's what Trump likes to do. He likes to cast people in parts. I'm great at this. I walk in, I say a couple of Spanish words that I know. Donde está el gato negro? Bam! I am now Lord of Trash Island. My family speaks Spanish, so they can do all the ads for me while I'm going around pillaging the little cities that don't really have money anymore, to the point where some of the towns are actually shutting down because they don't have money. But that's neither here nor there. It should be me. If someone's going to bring that island down, should it not be one of their own? It should be me. And I am ready to be part of a corrupt government because I put too much faith in the American system. And I am ready to serve the leader at this point. We always said we'd sell to China if they were available, to the Saudi Arabians if they were available, to the Russians if they were available, and no one called. And we're not entirely sure Blue Anon's going to work, even though we've laid a great foundation. Hopefully people take it and run with it. But we have to have a backup plan. And our backup plan is being Lord of Trash Island. Now we will not tell people we're Lord of Trash Island, but to ingratiate ourselves to the racist whites, we will say Lord of Trash Island. But when we're there, we'll say Lord of the Port of Riches. We too know how to do what Hillary Clinton once said, have a public face and a private face. That is what we're trying to do here. And it would work into the Blue Anon framework because I'll be inside and I'll be able to drop little tidbits like Q did, or we assume he did. I'll actually be really Q. This conspiracy can work. My involvement in it will tie it all together. And yes, this is a ploy for more ratings, more views, and money. But come on now. What are you going to do? Keep giving Jon Stewart your ratings? Or he got you nowhere. John Oliver got you nowhere. You might as well come around with me. At least I got a plan. And this plan could fucking work. We just got to get some really heavy-duty influencers involved. Because I am not a heavy-duty influencer. I'm not even on the radar. But Blue Anon is where it's at. We are going to take America back. And we're going to take it back blue. The storm is coming. Well, they took the storm. So what do? If QAnon has the storm, are we the blizzard? We're the blizzard. The blizzard. We're the blizzard. The blizzard is coming. Because, you know, like in cartoons, snow is kind of white and blue. So the blizzard. Listen, you guys want solutions. You guys want to feel better about what comes next. This is a game plan. Not one you were expecting, huh? But I gave you trans woman president. That's a good idea. Blue Anon, that's a great idea. Me as Lord of Trash Island, that's a good idea too. Though I don't think I'd be welcome in my home if I was Lord of Trash Island. I'm pretty sure within a year they would depose me and more than definitely hang me. But if I am going to be hung, I want to be at the fort, this beautiful fort here, as you see pictured. If I'm going out as a tyrant, I'm going out there. Maybe the people of Puerto Rico might like me, though. I'll be honest with it, going, hey, I'm here to raid things. Like, I'm not here to make things better. I'm also gonna throw, bounty and toilet tissues at you. Maybe he shouldn't. Maybe he should have thrown some money. Inflation's out of control, so I'll just print money and throw it, and it won't be worth anything, but it'll be in your pocket. And that's how I'll run Puerto Rico. I'll just give people money that has no value whatsoever, and they'll look at me as the mob boss and the drug lord, and I will have the protection of my people. And when I'm on the run, I will be able to hide in the jungles, because they'll remember when they had no bananas, Ralph gave bananas. When they had no oranges, Ralph gave the oranges. Now our bills were not paid, but we did have the fruit, and that is what's important. Now I wish I could say any of these plans would actually work, but they are plans, they are ideas, and you might as well give them about the best attempt you can, because it's going to be a long 4 years. It's what most of the country wanted. 76 million people, they wanted it. Most of the states wanted it. And maybe it's time we start thinking more about the economics of things as opposed to the social value of things. You cannot shame people into progress and change. You can't. You can only make the argument of what could be. As we said last episode, conservatives only focus on the now so they paint no future. But if we are the ones to paint the future, it has to be a future for everybody. Because when you make the future race and gender specific, people feel left out. And I've come to realize that there is no greater feeling than feeling left out for a lot of people. And I feel like a lot of us on the left should have known that, because black people, we felt left out. Brown people, we felt left out. Asian Americans felt left out. Women felt left out. And in all that, we took the space and then said, well, fuck these young men. You took the space from us, and now we're taking it back, and fuck you. Go suck a dick. And they did not want to go suck a dick. They just want to be part of something. And sadly, even if you don't like them, or you don't agree with them, they vote. And if you don't play the game you're in, you're always going to lose the game you're in. We're not playing the game of 10 years from now or 20 years from now. The numbers are the numbers today. The majority is the majority today. And we have to win them over to our ideas. And a Blue Anon conspiracy can do that. So, as your leader of Blue Anon, I command you to go bring those people to me, and I will tell them the conspiracy that unfolds before them. And then we will get very conspiratorial, and we'll have cool merch. There'll be a cool society built out of it, a little subset of blue tubers. And we'll make something happen, because that's the takeaway here. We don't have a narrative. We just have ideas. But we have to build a good franchise. We've got the villains. We're lacking on heroes. Got to build some of those. But we got to really take this to a franchise level. We need a Robert Downey Jr. We need a Chris Evans and a Chris Hemsworth. And who are those people going to be? Me and the other producers of the Blue Anon Conspiracy will discuss that and hopefully have an update. But remember, my fellow Blue Anon members, are you your brother's keeper? Yes, you are. And I think we all know how this one is going to end.